Been a while since I've done one of these. Goodness. What is up, everybody? My name is Micah Curtis with a new set of headphones. I actually had to go out of my way to pick up some noise-canceling ones. Because, you know, everybody loves a good Friday, and I got downstairs neighbors. They can get a little rowdy. So, you can't pick them up through the microphones, the benefit of buying cardioid. But, on the flip side, the downside is that I hear them. So, these cancel all that out. So, quite nice. Alright. Probably not going to be a long stream today. Haven't done anything stream-wise on this channel in months. And, I'll be frank, main reason being is I'm not in the mood to. I really have not been. I have been in the mood to work. I've been in the mood to bust my ass. Because it's gotten too fat and needs busting. So, yeah. That's why I'm back on keto. Which is why you won't see me drinking soda. Unless for some particular reason it's sugar-free. Yeah. So, let's go ahead and get right down to it. What we're going to be talking about today is a couple of things. Well, a few, actually. We're going to be talking about 3 comics that are in the production phase in one way or another that I've had something to do with, and then future plans as well, and where things are sitting as of right now. In fact, one of the artists that's working with me, Bog Digital Art, who is currently doing a book called How to Die, with the writer of Eudaimonia, I think is the title that he did prior, and then he's also working on Angel's Awakening with Daniel Parker, who is also in the chat. Daniel's a longtime fan of my original channel, and somebody that I've given quite a few tips to, and hopefully he listened. I'm excited for him, though. His book, Angel's Awakening, you can find the mailing list on Indiegogo. I don't have it up, and this computer that I'm on right now has been running kind of slow lately, so I'm not going to be doing a bunch of digging right now. So, my bad. Should have prepped a little bit better, I guess. But anyway, wow, it's so weird. I haven't promoted another comic book, honestly, on a show in a long time. It just, I don't know if you could hear that snap because I can't snap my fingers for shit. But, yeah, it kind of comes natural, I guess. Because I do want people to succeed. But I would be lying if I said there wasn't a lot of other bullshit that I've had to deal with that kind of made me not want to do it. But maybe I'll get back in the mood. We'll see what happens. I want to talk about my own stuff, though. And stuff that I've been associated with. So, obviously, we got 3 nights stuff to talk about. Obviously, I just launched the mailing list for Englewood Book 2. So, we're going to talk about that today. And it wouldn't surprise me if people, want to start adding on to their orders or what have you. Because, yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. So, 3 Nights, 4 Days, Part 1. The book is finished. The art is, anyway. The lettering is half done. But I just talked to Eric Weathers yesterday, who is lettering for me on this book. He's going to be doing all of my books going forward. Unless for some reason he's too busy, in which case I have another guy who can probably fill in. Regardless, those letters should be back to me by the end of the week. The total story ended up coming to be 45 pages. We added a page at the end, which is a nice full page spread of the main villain, who I've hinted at in the past, named the Midnight Witch, who will be you'll see her again after this. We'll just put it that way, in one way or another. She has a lasting impact on the universe. We'll just put it that way. So anyway. The thing about 3 Nights, 4 Days is that there's one other thing that needs finished, and that's the art book, which I have been working on behind the scenes. I've got about 10 pages, 12 pages left to do, but I already know what I'm doing with them. So that won't be too bad. The art book's going to be around 28 pages. It won't be perfect bound. There's not enough pages for that. But it will be a manga standard, and then printed in the same quality as the book itself. So, and let me show you guys what the cover is going to look like. Or at least this is the work in progress. I think I'm going to add some bloodstains to this. There's a little bit of tweaking I need to do. I need to darken the blacks a bit on this a little bit more to kind of give it a better look and add some blood splatters to it. But basically this texture, this parchment texture, is going to be what the outer cover looks like. So I'm definitely going to be looking forward to that. One thing I will say is if I get finished with this book and I'm like, you know what, I would really like to add a page for this and a page for that, I'm going to do it. So the art book might be bigger than I initially promised, just so you guys know. In which case, if it does get big enough to be perfect bound, I'm doing it right there. Because I think it would be a really cool look. I wish I could do hardcovers, honestly. I really wish I could, because the reason I wanted to do this is I was an early adopter on the very first Dead Space game. I really need to replay it at some point. I love that game. But I was an early adopter on that, and I actually got an art book that came along with it. And I'm like, this is one of the coolest things I've ever had. And it's just this little thing. Like, why don't we do that? So yeah. So this is what the front cover will look like for the art book. Or at least this is the work in progress. Like I said, I'm probably going to add some bloodstains to it. Because it's a little plain down here. You can't see my cursor. Hold on one sec. Wrong thing. Still not showing up. But down at the bottom, could probably use a little bit of something. So yeah, it's a I think it looks pretty good. This is actually the finalized promo art. Give a little bit of close up here. This is the finalized profile art, the promo art that Preston Acevedo sent me. I do have a colored version of this that was done by our first colorist that Preston actually shot down on me using. He's like, don't use that one, use the sketch. I'm like, all right, fine. Hey, Piper, what's up? So, needless to say, this is what the front of the book will look like. The back of it, I don't have a final bit of it saved, but it's basically just the Sleeveless Comics logo on the back, so it's not super complex looking. But needless to say, super excited. Miguel Barrera says, should I go for the poster or the art book? Why not both? Because the cool thing is that you could go onto the campaign, which is right here. We are just shy of 23,000. Actually, no, we just blazed past 23K not too long ago. But what you can do is if you come down here, I think you can add a poster onto comic and art book tier. But if you can't, come down here to the comic and poster tier, and you can add the art book. So every tier on this has add-ons. In fact, if you added you can even add another. If you want a second copy, you can get one of the original cover and then another of the Vinny Tartamella alternate cover. So, needless to say, a lot of really cool stuff. When are we closing this down is the next question, of course. In which case, we will probably be closing, I want to say early April. The reason I don't want to close sooner is because of another book that is closing that Piper happens to be a part of. So, and I don't want to take any sort of attention away from that. I want everybody to be focused on Peregrine's closing out, because that's big, and I'll talk about that here in a minute. Because I will be there for that. But anyway, needless to say, 3 Nights 4 Days is the first part is done. As of right now, the plan for part 2 is to do it later in the year. Start the campaign later in the year, probably around Halloween, kind of like we did with this one, and then we'll probably fulfill early next year. So that's what the current plan is, and that will close out that mini-series. And sad to say, that will be the last we will see storyline-wise of of these three knights, at least like stories centered around them, at least as of right now. Maybe in the future I'll bring them back. Maybe I'll do a book about the Siege of Jerusalem. I don't know. That one would take a lot of research, and I don't really think there's a lot of demand for it. So but regardless, this has been one of the most fun experiences I've had doing a comic book. There has been, I mean, granted there's only 2 experiences, but you get what I mean. Like, Oliver and Preston are such pros, and they always kept a professional demeanor. They always worked their hardest, gave me 110%. They were a lot of fun to work with. They both told me they had a blast with this book. I mean, I had so much fun working with these guys that we're going to find projects in the future. I'm gonna make stuff like specifically because I know that they would want to work on it with me. It's like, yeah, let's do another book, Micah. Script is right here. Let's do it. So needless to say, super excited about getting to do the next part. But yeah, it is it has been a success that we definitely did better than I thought it was going to. Definitely did much better. So I'm happy with it. I don't think I could be happier with it, honestly. Given I don't expect myself to make hundreds of thousands of dollars yet, nor should I. I'm not that well known, not at least with comic books. And everybody still sees me as some sort of political pundit instead of a comic book writer, so I got to change some minds there. It's going to take time, but we're going to get there. But anyway, definitely pick this up as soon as you can, if you haven't already. It will be a phenomenal book, that is for sure. All right, so there's that. The next thing to talk about is Englewood. Now my cursor shows up. What the hell? Y'all should like this cover, right? I like this cover. I'm a huge fan of this cover because this is done by my buddy Donald DeLay. Donald is one of the most talented artists in this day and age, and he can do anything, any sort of style. He can do something that is really cartoony, like you see with Cecil's Cash Grab, and it looks fantastic. He can do a more grounded art style, like what Englewood has. But still, Englewood still has some cartoony bits, I'm not going to lie, which is by design. But he can do a style like what we have with Englewood, just like that. I can't snap my fingers, but you get the idea. Like that. So, Englewood Book 2, this is going to be the cover for it, done by Donald DeLay. Spartan Scotsman, the super talented colorist who worked on Xenotype, is working right now with my buddy Sim on Tales from the Natverse, along with Ink Spots, who is also the colorist on Cash Grab. They're doing some pretty cool stuff together, but Scotsman is going to be working on this one with me as well. He'll be doing the colors. He's excited. Scotsman's really wanting to brush off his talents on a more classic comic book look, which this definitely applies. So I'm really excited to see what he gives me. But I love how he nailed how fucking frightened this is. I told Donald, I'm like, what I'm looking for with this is I'm looking for the energy of a Predator cover. Not a Batman cover, not a Nightwing cover, but a Predator cover. And I referenced a couple one of them being some of the covers for Fire and Stone. And he goes, I know exactly what you're talking about. And then this is what he gave me. And that's what it feels like. I mean, that's a classic, like, Predator stance, And I love how he nailed the tonfa and everything like that. So, I'm pretty psyched about it. I can't wait to see what the colors are like, honestly. God, it looks so good. But here's the thing. I know that there's some of you out there who prefer black and white colors, right? Especially for covers, things like that. And really, I know that a lot of people really want Donald to just do a straight black and white book, which is what he's doing with the current project he's on called The Champion, which is all him. Um, he he is he is a phenomenal. He's good at everything he does, honestly. And if you would prefer to get this cover in black and white, it's very simple. All you have to do is come over here. The link is also in the description, but I'm going to paste it in the chat. What's up, Xavier? If you have not signed up yet for the mailing list, you're going to get a couple of options. The first thing that you're going to get is you're going to get a link if you sign up for the mailing list the day that the campaign goes live. And then that link in your email will give you access to a very special black and white cover, the one that you see in front of you. This is what the trade dress will look like, and so on and so forth. It'll just say Englewood Book 2. And yeah, it will be it'll be exclusive for those of you who sign up for the mailing list. So that will be pretty exciting, right? Also means the cover is going to be super rare. So, and also one thing to mention on that is that with every Englewood campaign, we will always have the Windy City Special. This time around, it's called Hijo del Windy City Special, which is son of, because the gang that he's going up against is Latino. So the son of the Windy City Special will be pretty much reflective of the same stuff. Poster, which will be the cover poster. We're just going to do a poster of this colored. A t-shirt, which will be a black and white version of the Born in Blood one, because this concludes the Born in Blood arc. And then the book itself. And it will be $60, just like last time. Now, one thing I should mention is that if you decide to back the mailing list version, you will get something called the Windy City Special Upgrade option. It'll be an add-on that's exclusive to the mailing list. And basically what it is it includes both the t-shirt and the whatchamacallit, the poster as well. So you can just add it on, so you're basically getting the Windy City Special if you want a cover of or if you want the colored cover on top of that add-on will be available for you as well. So I'll be doing the same thing I did with 3 Nights, where you can add everything onto everything, you know? So, needless to say, pretty freaking awesome. Another thing to mention as well is this book is special to me. A lot of mental energy went into writing Englewood Book 2. And it was kind of a chaotic time in life because I was adjusting to being a full-time writer, and there's a bunch of other shit going on that was driving me insane and all this other stuff, but I managed to get the script finished. And I'm very proud of how it ends. I'm very proud of how the arc ends and what I'm moving into next with this comic. So there is not going to be a stretch goal for signed comics. I'm just going to go do them. I'll be going to North Carolina, and then I'll get it all taken care of. So, but let's go ahead and roll through what this says, though. The war on Chicago's criminal underbelly begins. After the tragedy that befell his life in Englewood Issue 1, MMA champion Elijah Wallace realizes that philanthropy won't be enough to save Chicago's soul. He's going to have to fight for it, and his first target is the Kings, the gang who took his heart and soul from him. It's going to be a 66-page graphic novel, so it'll be full size. The price for it will be $25 plus shipping. Should probably move so you can see it. Art will be done by Brian Martinez, so Brian is returning. Armand Strange is returning for the colors as well. So, like I mentioned, it will start in issue 1, or it will close that arc out. One thing I am considering is this. I am considering, if we make, let's say, $40,000, what I will do is I will take this book and I will turn it into Englewood, Born in Blood, and it'll be a trade paperback of the entire arc, including issues 0 and 1, which were what you guys got with the first Indiegogo campaign. So, 40 grand. I'm also, if we get 40 grand, that's what I'm going to do. if one thing I should add to that is that we are also going to look for, I don't know what we're going to give away, but we want to give some free swag away to people who get 5 referrals or more. Just because I think that would be something really cool to do for you guys. So, not to mention, I kind of do all the promoting. Could use a little help. So if I got to incentivize the people to help, I'm going to do it. So, that's not completely true. Obviously, the guys at Graded have helped me out. Mandy Summers has done a really good job of helping me promote my work, having me on her show. And I know that there's other people out there that want to have me on to talk about this already. That I've heard rumblings and stuff like that, or they just love having me on. I'll probably go on, see if Michael Bancroft wants to have me on. I'll probably talk to the guys at CG UK. I always have fun with those dudes. So on and so forth. So, needless to say, though, I want to sign all the comics for this. I want to do that. And then, of course, sign up today. You get the chance at that black and white Donald DeLay cover. And then, of course, you get a free trading card as well if you sign up and back physical. There will be a digital option. For those of you who are international, don't want to pay $25 American for shipping. So, there will be a digital option for you guys. But, one thing I will note, if you back the digital option, what I should probably mention is that all of the perks that get shipped out aren't going to come to you. So, if we do any stretch goals, you won't really benefit from that. So, something to consider if you back physical instead. But yeah, if you haven't signed up for the mailing list already, please do so. And it will be something that definitely you will enjoy, for sure. I'm very proud of this book. We've already started working on pages, by the way. I'm trying to think if there's any other concerns I really need to address with this book coming around. One thing I will say is that the team on it, we are very much looking to make this book infinitely better than book 1 was. One thing that I want to do, of course, and I've been telling Brian and Armand this, is that I'm emphasizing detail. You know, you look at Brian's art, and the one thing that he is phenomenal at is facial expression. You know? You can always tell exactly what somebody is feeling emotionally whenever you look in their eyes when Brian is doing the art. You know? But detail is a big deal this time around. And you'll already notice we're starting to make sure that is there. You know, like the creases in the screen door here and the cracks in the wood. He's also really improved on his inking as well, as you can see. I'm not going to show off the full page. I don't want to spoil anything yet. But I think that like his pencils and inks look a lot better, honestly. He's definitely been practicing on his downtime. I love the way that he's just emphasizing light so much better with things like that. One thing that I should mention on top of that is this is actually the debut of what we call the Vanta Black mode. Basically, the button that you see in the center of the Saint, in the center of his chest armor, is not just for show. That button actually goes in, and when it's pressed, the suit turns this black, so it blends in with shadow. It's basically a stealth mode. So he literally looks like he's walking out of the shadows. It's a pretty cool effect, I think. I really like it. So we'll talk about Peregrine here in a sec. But needless to say, sign up for it. You're really going to enjoy this book. I mean, fuck, this is going to be so much better. The first book was good. I got nothing but praise from it from the people who actually read the damn thing, you know? The only people that really complained about it are people that, like, pirated it or something, you know, or just didn't like me in the first place, in which, whatever, suck my dick. Half the people complaining about it aren't as good of writers as I am anyway. So. But anywho, speaking of people that are awesome, though, I gotta talk about one last. Oh, wait, no, I'm not gonna. Well, it's related. So, Peregrine Wings of the Falcon. from my friends over at Graded Point 5. Xavier's in the chat. Piper took off for a second, but she might be back soon. This book closes out on the 30th. And they'll be doing a stream where basically Xavier is going to start playing Ocarina of Time. By the time he finishes with the game, that's when Peregrine closes out. Done. Meaning that's the opportunity to get this book. If you have not gotten it already, even though over 1,000 people have already, please do so. The link is still in the description on this one. Awesome fucking book. I've read it. Haha, I got to read it before you guys. Mostly because I helped them get the print files put together. But yeah, it's a great book. I'm very happy with it. I know they're happy with it. I know they're excited. Man, it's been a wild ride for them too. So to finally get them to the finish line, just as one of their friends, this has been an experience. I know it's been crazy for them, but we're there. You know, we're there, and that's the great thing. You know, we're there. It's gonna be done, and then we get to move on to the next stuff. And later in the year, the plan is to launch Peregrine Book 2. Now, a lot of you probably remember that there is also a crossover that's coming. So, down here on the campaign, you do get 2 free posters, but one of them features a character that's probably never going to see print anyway, so I'm not even going to dwell on it. And if it does, from what I've seen to the preview pages, it doesn't look very good. But what does look good is Englewood Peregrine, the crossover, Dark Knight in the Windy City, which will be coming later this year to Indiegogo. The script is already written. Piper's already edited part of it for continuity. Everybody on Graded, I believe, has read it and enjoyed it. Hatman still needs to edit it, so everybody shame the Hatman. But regardless, it's going to be an awesome comic book. One thing that's going to be happening, I've already secured this. I don't think I've told Xavier. I've told Xavier. I don't know if I've told Piper this yet. There is going to be a special print for each campaign, for Englewood Book 2 and Peregrine Book 2. And it's going to be 2 parts of a whole. One part of it you will get with the Englewood campaign if you back it. The other half, though, you will have to back Peregrine Book 2 to get it. The reason being is that print is a preview for what you will get in Englewood Peregrine, Dark Knight in the Windy City. And the artist that I have secured for that is none other than Preston Acevedo. Yeah. So, needless to say, pretty cool stuff. So everybody who backs Englewood Book 2, you're going to get half that print. Then if you back Peregrine Book 2, you're going to get that one too. So, something to consider. But anyway, Peregrine closes out on the 30th. If you have not backed this book already, please do so. Link in the description. It is fucking awesome. Seriously. And I will say this is definitely... Now I've written a book with her, but one thing I will say about Jess, about Perry, is that she's a very different type of female superhero. You know, the attitude's different, the way she carries herself is different. I like her a lot more than a lot of other female superheroes I've read in my lifetime. So yeah, she's tons of fun, and I really enjoyed the book, to say the least. I'm not going to spoil anything though, so don't even ask. So yeah, good stuff, right? I'm excited, if you couldn't tell. So, to recap, before I open it up for a little bit of Q&A. 3 nights, 4 days. Going to be closing within the next couple of weeks. If you have not backed the art book yet, this is the work in progress version of the cover. Please do so. If you haven't booked it or backed it at all, lot of really good shit to get. And no Nick White, it is not too late to back Peregrine. The 30th of this month is the cutoff. But anyway, and not too late to back 3 Nights, 4 Days either. Englewood Book 2. The mailing list is now up. This is the cover by Donald DeLay. If you want the black and white version of this cover, you're going to have to sign up for the mailing list. A link will get given to you when the campaign goes live. And then, of course, this cover will be colored by the mighty Spartan Scotsman, my good buddy there. So the sign-up sheet, of course, is in the description. Art, of course, on the interiors will be done once again by Brian and Armand. Super excited. Eric Weathers will probably end up lettering this. If he doesn't, I will let you guys know. And then Peregrine, Wings of the Falcon, closes on the 30th. Definitely pick that up, especially the fucking Preston cover. Damn. Alright, folks. Let's go ahead and open it up to the chat. Probably not a ton of people in here, just 22 people, which is about what I expected for a midday stream. What you guys got for me, question-wise? Genuinely curious. Jaro says that Donald cover is the business. Damn right. Donald's awesome, dude. Awesome guy. Super easy to work with. Which, trust me when I tell you, as a writer, if you have an artist that's easy to work with, you got gold on your hands. Some artists are fucking divas, you know? Let's see here. Anime Ruby Critics Podcast says, Micah, how are you? I'm doing good, dude. I'm back on the keto diet. I just went through keto flu on Monday, which was yesterday. And I'm feeling a lot better, honestly, you know, now that I'm back on it. I got a lot of weight to lose, obviously. Quarantine has been hard on me. Granted, I also have been very lax on things during quarantine. So that will be something that I'm going to improve, but I have a feeling the more weight that I shed off, the better I'll continue to feel, etc., etc. Either way, I'm doing very good. Thank you for asking. Is there a story behind Peregrine's hoop earrings? Not in the book. At least I don't remember it. I might have missed it. I'd have to go back and look through the pages. So, let's see here. Angry Green Boss wants to know, would it be possible to see a Dragon Age Origins play stream? Maybe. I haven't really been in the mood to stream video games this last couple of weeks. I want to finish Metal Gear with Hatman. So I'm going to message him and see when he wants to do that. And then from there, I'll think about it. Right now, what I'm doing is just focusing on work. Trying to get everything done. So yeah. Chunky wants to know, will I ever make another horror comic in a different setting? I actually already have one in the works. So, Bogdan Digital Art is in the chat. He's going to be working with me on this. It's called The First Servant. It's set in the Sleeveless universe, just like 3 Nights, 4 Days is, Englewood, the upcoming Project Lazarus, so on and so forth, all that stuff. That will be what introduces basically Children of the Night to the universe. Vampires, werewolves, all that fun stuff. So yeah. Definitely will be doing that. That is planned for a little bit later in the year. I'm about a third of the way done with the script. I got about 20 some odd pages done. I have to be in a certain mental state to write horror. So, and some days I am, and some days I'm not. But I need to try to pounce whenever I am. So, let's see what else we got here. When do you plan on opening the campaign for Book 2 of Englewood? May. May is when I plan on opening it. So I've already got Brian and Armand working on pages. So yeah. We'll hopefully have a good chunk of it finished by the time we get there. So yeah, so that's always awesome. Let's see here. So yeah, so May be looking. That's why you want to get on the mailing list, just so you don't miss it. Hardworld wants to know, how many of your comic projects could you see can be continuous comics with multiple stories? How interested are you in that as opposed to miniseries and standalones, and why? Well, that's a lot of questions. As of right now, the plan is for 2 of everything that I've got going on to be ongoing properties, and that's Project Lazarus and Englewood. And then, of course, other crossovers and stuff like that could be done with other characters, if I so choose. Right now, the only ones that I actually see crossing over with are... Shit, I can't open my stream yet. Streamlabs. Give me 1 second. Somebody just threw money at me. Right now, the only ones that I plan on possibly crossing it over with right now is just stuff with Peregrine. You know? Because those 2 characters fit so well together. Fair enough, Serena. I'm not going to read that out loud because some of that's like behind the scenes stuff, but thank you for the donation. But anyway, those are the only 2 that I really plan on doing regular. Beyond that, we'll see. I have another hero that has the potential, but I need to find somebody who's going to be a consistent artist on it. So, and I have not found the guy for that yet. I haven't found the person. It's like, this is the person that should be doing this forever. You know, this is the person that should be doing it for the next 10 years. So yeah. But I'll be looking into it. Let's see here. Ian Renner wants to know, how do you even start on your comic projects? Obviously a big undertaking, wondering how you tackle it. It all starts with a script, you know? Once I have a script idea, I kind of keep my ear to the ground, you know, just to kind of see what's out there, you know, who's out there, what are they doing, and seeing if somebody is looking to work on a book. And then once I find at least the penciler, it's off to the races, you know? I pitch the penciler and say, this is what I got in mind, and then bada boom. Or sometimes the artist will approach me and say, do you have anything on the back burner? Do you have anything that that's even in concept right now? And in which case I'll tell them, yeah, I've got something, and this is what it is, and either it works out or it doesn't. That's how Preston Acevedo and I started on 3 Nights. Is he emailed me wanting to work. You know, he wanted something to do. He was just getting into the CG movement. You know, he's like, I want to be part of this, and I want to do a book with you. You know, do you have anything right now? And I'm like, yeah. You know, I got this idea on the back burner. Let me throw it at you, see what you think, and then bam. Now we got 3 Nights, 4 Days, which is a book that, you know, overtook Englewood in regards to its success dollar-wise. So, that's basically it. Let's see here. Sent you an email a while ago with commissions I bought with the names of artists. I was hoping that you could show off their art and give them a shout-out for their amazing work. They could use the money. They're amazing people to work with. What email address did you send it to? Because I don't remember getting it. It might have hit my spam folder. If you're on Twitter, honestly, it's a better idea to hit me up there so I could just retweet it. Honestly. So yeah. Let's see here. Sister Pex wants to know, will there be any more dark fantasy from Sleeveless Comics? Well, yeah. I would consider The First Servant to be dark fantasy in a sense. It's a horror book, but it has magic and stuff like that, so it's considered fantasy. Let's see here. Melee Brawler wants to know, do you have any comics planned that take place in the future? Yes, Xavier and I are working on a mecha book together called The Argonauts. It's a while down the road, but that is where it's set. So, it is basically this idea that the galaxy gets split into one half is owned by Earth and its forces, the other half is by space commies, and thus the war. and it will be a pretty cool book, I think, because it's basically like a mecha retelling of Jason and the Argonauts. If you like Gundam Wing, or any of the Gundam series, except for G, because this doesn't do any martial arts shit. But if you're a Gundam fan, or just a real robot fan in general, it'll be up your alley. Let's see here. How do you feel about anthologies? I'm pondering doing an anthology series at one point. Not something I would do on my own stuff, but if somebody approached me to write it for them, I would definitely be willing to contribute a story. But it's not something I see myself organizing. Because I've been approached before, but it didn't pan out. So, because War Campaign, when they were talking about doing Jumpstart, Ro had mentioned to me something about like anthology stuff. And then Steve Dye, who was with them at the time, he's not now. Now he's working. He just did Xenotype with Liam, and then now he's doing Cyberfrog Wreck Planet with Ethan. Steve Dye talked to me about possibly doing a story for it, and I'm like, yeah, I'd be down. So, but nothing ever came of it. I don't know if Jumpstart's even going to happen. I hope it does. It would be really cool to see an online publication, or just a publication in general, that highlights up-and-coming independent talent. So, hopefully those guys can get to do that at some point. You know, I'm not going to call myself like a big War Campaign supporter, because I'm just not. But some of the guys in there are really cool. So I take everybody in that group as individuals. But regardless, I do think, just generally for comics in general, I think that Jumpstart happening would be a good thing. You know, it helped to get people's names out there. You know. So, but it's not something I'm planning on doing right now. I just don't have the time or the energy to do it. So, let's see here. Jason Nooner says, I often watch the Hellraiser or Event Horizon and get in the horror mood. Also play the Hellraiser soundtrack. Oddly enough, do you want to know the soundtrack I listen to whenever I'm starting to get into that mood? Cube. Underrated indie horror film, in my opinion. And the main theme from Cube really especially gets me in the right headspace for it. Okay, sent it to my regular email. I have not. I must have missed it, or it went to my my junk mail. If I cast the 3 nights in a movie, who are my top 3 choices? So each character is based off an actor. I based Sir Roger, the main character, on Russell Crowe. I based Sir John on Cary Elwes, and I based Sir Dietrich on Dolph Lundgren, which is probably why everybody likes him the most. So if I could get them, if they were younger, that's who I would choose. Other than that, I mean, fuck. All I know is that if I ever got the chance to make a 3 Nights movie, which will never happen because I'm a Republican, more than likely Dietrich would probably be played by Chris Hemsworth. So the other two, I'm not quite sure. Actually, the guy who plays the Winter Soldier would be a good pick for Roger, I think. Let's see here. What about a fan of Gundam Seed? My best advice is to pray. Pray for forgiveness from the Lord Jesus Christ. But if you want to, see something good, I would say A, watch Gundam Wing instead, and then B, get the Argonauts whenever it comes out. Oh shit. Let's see here. It mentioned way back when I said something about plans for a noir comic to stay tuned. Any updates on that so far? Still in the plans for the future. It will be an Englewood tie-in, and it will introduce a new villain. One thing I will say, I don't know if I could get this to happen, but if at all possible, if he was available to do it and it wouldn't fuck with his career to do it, if I could get Kanan White to do that particular book. Yeah. Yeah. That would be amazing. I want to work with Kanan at some point. Kanan's a great dude. I've had a couple conversations with him. Great guy, very down to earth, kind of a quiet guy. Also one of the best artists working today. I don't know what he's got planned for his future. I know that he's told a friend of mine that he's still willing to do covers and stuff like that. So I will probably commission him to do something like that in the future. But I know he's doing a couple of books for Antonio Bryce, and then after that, I don't know what the future holds. But yeah, he's a guy I would really like to do something Englewood oriented with. I think he'd be perfect for it. I mean, his work on Uber, just, good lord, he's so good, so good. And if you guys have seen Kanan White's art, imagine if I got someone like Scotsman or Oliver Liarce or even Armand to color that, you know? Like, God, it would look so good. Let's see here. Everybody loves the Hammer Knight. I know, right? Do you want me to resend the email? Please do, if you're not on Twitter. If you're on Twitter, just send me their DeviantArt links, and I will retweet it. Assuming I like the artists. Let's see here. Sister Pex wants to know, how will I tackle a psychological horror like Silence of the Lambs or a villain like Hannibal Lecter? So, Englewood is actually the book for that. I have a psychological horror-ish book planned for the universe. Or at least elements of it. But that's also where Tales from Englewood kind of fits in, because I can introduce a villain in that title that comes across the Saint at some point, you know. So let's see here. Oh, Miguel Barrera asked a question about perks. He says he wants to know about which perk to choose because they pick you with your money. I would say most bang for your buck, like the most content on 3 nights, is the comic and art book. But if you're looking for a good poster, I mean, both of the posters are really good. So it's up to you. Both of them cost the same. And of course, you can always add the art book if you're willing to spend an extra $25. It doesn't cost you any extra shipping. So, let's see here. But anyway, cast in a live-action version of Englewood, I don't know. Because the unfortunate thing is the guy that I would pick to play Elijah Wallace passed away. Is Chadwick Boseman. So, I think he would have played Elijah really well. Beyond that, I really don't know. I mean, Michael B. Jordan would be good as the character, but he's already played a fighter in Creed. I don't think that he would ever do that again. I don't know. Never really thought about it. I'm more focused on just making it a successful comic book. You know? Everything else beyond that will just fall in place. There it is. Now the damn thing came through. Alright, thanks, Ruby Guy. I'll have a look at this in see if I dig the art. If I do, I'll tweet him out to get him some exposure. Let's see here. Things going with the other artists I recommended for Project Lazarus, asks Serena. Well, I only talked to the one that I ended up signing to the book, and things are going well. I'm helping him out with some of his own stuff to finish that up first, and then we're gonna do finished concept on Lazarus, and then we'll launch that campaign once we've got some pages done. How would I write a werewolf protagonist? Stay tuned. That's all I'll say. What else we got? Something like a Scanner's feel for psychological horror for Englewood. Well, the book that that I have planned from Tales from Englewood, which will be later on, is called Dreamer. And it definitely has elements of... There we go. I got kicked off the YouTube for a second. That was weird. I don't know what caused that. There we go. I changed some settings around, so the quality is going to dip a little bit, but... Hard-boiled, what the fuck? Don't be clicking on people's names unless you have to. Alright. Will Argonauts be part of the Sleeveless universe? Probably not. Probably not. Same publish. Well, I'm going to publish it under Sleeveless Comics, but... probably not. Let's see here. I think that's about it, question-wise. I think everybody got in the questions that they had. So, yeah. Oh, real quick. Nooner wants to know, any plans for an old school Golden Age type of book? Good and evil is black and white, almost campy. No. Nothing like that. The closest is the one that I am doing for Liam Gray. Liam brought me on to write a female superhero for him, because of course I wrote Perry in the Englewood Peregrine crossover, and he is admittedly not, you know, good at writing female superheroes, because he is Liam. That's really all I could say. I love Liam. He's like a brother to me at this point, but he's like a little brother to me at this point, if you know what I mean. It's like, Jesus Christ, dude. You know? He, let me just put it this way. There was a point where, I was writing the book, and I'm talking to Liam while I'm writing it, right? We're in a chat, you know? And he's like, maybe we should do this. And I'm like, no. What if we did this? Like, he's like, maybe her costume should appear like a magical girl. No. Maybe we should give her a plunging neckline on her suit. No. Stuff like that, you know. But then again, that's kind of Liam and his style. Like, he likes to just, like, throw stuff out, get feedback on it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Me, I'm a little different. I don't make a move until I've thought about it for a while, you know, and then I make the move. And then I run it off my editor. So I will say it is a female superhero. Yeah. Thought Liam doesn't like to make sexy women. Kind of the reason I'm the one writing it. No boob window. Cleavage, yes, not a boob window. I'm not going to say too much about the character. Let's just say she's very old school in regards to her the way that I wrote her. You know, I wanted to write a character that kind of felt like we were going back to the old days where women were written like women, you know. And I don't mean like, and I mean like girl next door type of attitude, you know. This the type of girl that the girls want to be and the guys want to marry. You know, this is a girl I could take home to mom and introduce to mom, you know. Because Carol Danvers used to be like that. Rogue from the X-Men, despite the fact that she would suck the life out of you if she touches you. You could still see, you know, Rogue being a wife and a mother, you know, at some point. But she can kick ass, too, when the time calls for it. An actual strong woman, you know, has feminine traits, but doesn't fall into that trap that some people have mentally. Very few people have this trap mentally these days, but some people have this trap mentally where feminine equals weakness, which I think is bullshit. So, Silver Age style, not really, no. More like mid-'80s, early 90s, you know. Let me just put it this way. The way that I wrote this character, if you really enjoyed the writing styles of someone like a Chris Claremont, or a Walt Simonson, those were kind of the guys I pulled from when I wrote it. Like, those were the comics I was reading while I was writing it, you know, to kind of get in a good head, in the right headspace for it. You know, I wanted it to have that sort of feeling of the excitement and uplifting feel of what comics can do. Yeah, Copper Age, basically. Because that's some of my favorite stuff. Copper Age, Bronze Age, like around there. Because I'm a big fan of old school Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, as in Marvel. I really liked Marvel a lot. The Silver Surfer around that time, which was written by Jim Starlin. Well, Starlin wrote a lot of Captain Marvel, too. Anything Chris Claremont from that era, which he wrote Miss Marvel for a long time. Who else? There's a lot of other stuff I was reading, but around that time, I wanted to have that sort of a superhero that when you read the stories, it makes you feel good about yourself. It's the type of person that you want to be, you know? I wanted that sort of an inspiring character. Another good example would be like, why am I forgetting the name of Walt Simonson's wife? God, fuck. Louise Simonson's Superman is another really good example. Or Dan Abnett's Superman as well. How it was a very uplifting comic book, you know? So yeah, like that's the sort of stuff when I was writing that I was sort of referencing. You know, I wanted it to have that sort of big superhero feel. And, like, if you want to look at animated series, anything Bruce Timm from, like, the DC animated universe, that sort of a feeling. In fact, we have an artist who, his style's very similar to Bruce Timm. I'm not going to say who his name is, because Liam's asked me not to. But yeah, the character is that vein of superhero. You know, that's what I desire to create. You know, I'm not looking to make fucking as Serena says in the chat, morally gray, gloomy, and depressing. Like I don't really feel like that needs to be everything. Like even though Englewood has some elements of that because it's a street level story, the lead character is pretty clearly a good guy. He doesn't kill at all. He throws people in jail. You know, he respects that the justice system exists and that people have human rights. You know? So as it stands, that's the sort of feeling that I'm going for. You know? That's the sort of feeling that I'm going for. And I think that superheroes need to start moving back in that direction. That's obviously what I believe in. It's what the guys at Graded believe in. You know, I don't think we're alone in that. So, edgy can be fun sometimes, but I don't like it with superheroes. I just don't. Let's see here. Favorite medieval story that isn't a fantasy. So, I don't read a lot of books, as you guys know, just because I generally, like, I read nonfiction whenever I sit down and read something. I don't read fiction, unless it's a comic, or unless it, or a video game or a movie or something like that. Like, I don't like, I like illustrated stuff, you know, because I like art. You know, obviously, as if the posters behind me wasn't enough of a fucking indication. So, I asked just some guy to come on as an artist. I've never seen his art, honestly. If he wanted to do a book with me, I'd love to. He's a good dude. I know I think he backed Englewood, the first book. So, because he's from that neighborhood originally, if I recall correctly. He doesn't live there now, but he knows that. He knows the neighborhood of Englewood. You know, he knows what when any Chicagoan, when you hear the name Englewood, you know what it means. It's not a good place to be. Da, 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 da. What else we got? You can create a story from nothing, right? Like just like off the top of my head, if I want to, yeah. I've actually done like stuff for my nieces and nephews when they were younger, where I would just make up a story, you know. Did that really happen, Uncle Micah? Nope. I just made it up. Let's see here. You're aware he does all the art in his YouTube videos? No, I actually did not know that. I thought he had hired somebody else to do it. So that's news from me. But yeah, if he wanted to work with me, dude, I wouldn't turn him down. Not at all. The guy who plays Luke Cage, would he work as a live-action Elijah? Not really. Not Mike Coulter. I like Mike Coulter, but he wouldn't be my pick. He's a little too big, oddly enough. He would be really good as one of the gang leaders that I have in Englewood. I won't say who, but yeah. Would I ever write comics for kids? Well, the book I'm doing with Liam definitely could target a younger demographic. It's something you could give to somebody younger. I don't know yet. We'll have to see. There is another character I have in the back burner I have called Gecko that I've mentioned before. He's more of a character that you could give to a younger audience, but I don't even have his costume designed yet. You know, I need to sit down and write him and write the script. I'm so far away from that book being published, it's gonna be a while. But yeah. I really want to do that book though. But it's probably not gonna happen this year. I just need to find the one person that I know I really would love to do it with is gonna be fucking busy for the foreseeable future. And his name is Stefani Rene. He's a Brazilian guy. Has a book that he's doing by himself called Thomas Moria. And then he's doing another book with somebody else. So sadly, that's not going to happen. I would need to find somebody that would be really good for it. I don't know who. I'll have to look around for pencilers. Gecko has to be an insurance salesman during the day. No, he's a college student. He's young. He's like 20. Same universe as Englewood, though. Could Argonauts be a book for kids? No, it's a war story. There's a reason I compare it to Gundam. It's the same tone. I think kids would find Blarg enjoyable and funny, unless you were going with grown-up violence in it. Yeah, well, there's comedic violence, so as in decapitations and shit. So no, that's not for kids. Blarg is for 20 and 30-year-old D&D nerds, you know? That's because it's a former D&D character that I turned into something else. And I gave him a sidekick that is fucking hilarious. Because his name is, Juan Rodrigo Franco Francisco the 14th. But he comes from a family of farmers that are just pretentious as fuck. No, it's not Juan, it's Roberto. But he goes by Bob. So the actual title of the book is The Misadventures of Blarg and Bob. So. Would I ever do satire? If somebody else hired me to do it, yes. It's not something I'm interested in doing. I mean, I would love to write The Tick. If The Tick was, had another print in the comics, I would write The Tick. The Tick would be fun. I mean, shit, I can still remember the theme song in my head. So. Alright, my internet's being shitty. I might have to bring this to a close here in a minute. I'll answer a couple more questions. Ridiculous concept for concept. Bible Man plus the Brave series. So considering Bible Man was already a forced meme on this channel, or in my life, I'm not going that route again. And people are dropping out anyway. So we're going to go ahead and bring this to a close. So thank you all for watching. I'm going to take off just as a reminder once again before I go. Peregrine closes on the 30th of this month. Remember that to pick it up. You're going to want to read it before the crossover in the future. Englewood Book 2's mailing list is up. Link is in the description. If you sign up for it, you get the opportunity for a Donald DeLay black and white cover, plus a trading card. Here is the cover. It is fucking gorgeous. It's going to be colored by Spartan Scotsman as well, so keep your eyes out for that. And then finally, this... Now my computer's locking up. There we go. This is the work-in-progress cover for the art book. Pick this up as soon as you can, if you have not already, on the 3 Nights campaign, which is at 406 backers right now, which is fucking awesome. Thank you all so much. This book is finished, by the way. We'll be closing this out at the beginning of April. So, that's all I have for today. Until next time, my name is Micah Curtis, the head of Sleepless Comics. Y'all have yourselves a